Hi everyone, Mr. Silva here, and this is the recording for Unit 1, Markup Language and Site Development Essentials, and this is day 7 of the unit. In the last class, what we talked about validation. Validation, as you know, is the process of checking your code for any errors. You can also use validation to check code for issues affecting accessibility as well. And we also talked a little bit about colorblindness and how that plays an impact in web design. So now we're going to talk about addressing accessibility concerns. We've talked about accessibility standards and laws, and gave a little bit of a preview and overview of them. You want to make sure you know those laws. Those are heavily tested on the certification exam. We even talked about how to validate your code for any accessibility issues and why the importance of validation, why we do it. And we're going to talk now about how to actually address some of your accessibility issues and concerns. First up is visual impairments for those that have issues even seeing the screen and what's on it. One of the first things is text readability. You want to make sure that your fonts are the correct sizes so that they can be viewed by all users. You also want to have text support for images. Images are described in text using code. Later in the units, you talk about with images how to do the alternate tag within the image. So you want to keep that in mind as you describe your images. And also screen reader support. All pages and elements can be read by an audio screen reader. You want to make sure that's included. An audio screen reader will take what's on the page and read it towards the user. For those individuals with audio impairments, you want to provide alternative audio support. Text equivalent is available, so if you do have audio content on your web page, you want to make sure there's a text equivalent, either usually a word-for-word translation or transcription, so make sure that you have that. Alternative speech input, so keyboard entry is available, and that's if you have speech input, like if you require them to speak for certain parts of your web page, that they can do so also by using a keyboard. And then there's text support for audio. Audio elements are marked with alternative text. Like I mentioned before, this is just making sure that if you do have a video that you have the text available. Cognitive and technical challenges. So these are with people who have issues with their thinking abilities and other kind of disabilities that they may have. So if you have a page that flickers, flashes, or strobes, you want to make sure you avoid that. That could cause a seizure. And generally, you want your pages to be very, very plain and straightforward. You should also have alternative navigation, such as navigation aids for people who with thinking disorders, kind of remind them how to progress through your page if they need that. Audio support, you want to have audio transcriptions for text to support users with dyslexia. That's helpful that it will read the page if someone has dyslexia and has a lot of difficulty and a lot of challenges reading the page, that they can have an audio version of available for them. And you also want to have low resolution alternatives. Web pages should be designed so user does not need a very large screen resolution. In summary for this lesson, we want to make sure that web pages are accessible to all users, and we do have the technology now available to allow us to do so. And most accessibility methods are easy to implement, so you want to make sure that when you do design a web page that you do keep in mind the users that will be using your page, and you want to make sure that you accommodate them as best as you can. All right, that's going to do it for this lesson.